ChadArmesTV, we are back with another interview from the interview series, man. And this is a gentleman we've had on the podcast once before. This man is a legend in Tennessee, man. I'm looking forward to this interview. We got Mr. Mack.
What up, though?
How's it going, man?
Coolin'. What about you, Chad?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I appreciate you sliding through, man. We've been talking about wanting to do this. It was just a timing thing, and you've been really busy here lately, which we'll get into with your new podcast and everything. So, but we're going to let you tell the story of Mr. Mack, man, and we'll just start from the jump. So, where were you born and raised at?
Born in Maryville, Tennessee, raised in Rockford and Alcoa.
Okay, so is that like that's like Knoxville way?
Yeah,
Okay.
out in 865. It's like I guess if you was considered like Nashville, Murfreesboro.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Knoxville being the major city.
Yeah.
I'm over here in a little place called Rockford. Alcoa was another little community.
Yeah.
So I grew up in both of those.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. So what was it like growing up? And like it was a small country town?
Yeah, small country town. Definitely not that many black people.
Right.
So the little area I was from was probably like a strip, like one road and a little cutoff road beside it. Black folks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Alcoa community, it had this all little, probably like a neighborhood of 13 streets. Black folks. That's pretty much it. You know what I mean? But back then in the 80s, you know, a little racism, a little bit of all of that good stuff.
Oh yeah, for
trying,
sure.
You know, the neighborhoods was close knit. It was in the black communities, nine times out of 10, it's family. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everybody around there knew everybody. So you cut up down the street, you was gonna get your ass whooped when you get home. Probably got your ass whooped down the street and when you got home.
Oh yeah, got it. That's how it used to be, man.
Yeah,
that's how it used to be. So what was did you have a big family?
Yeah.
Like, how many brothers and sisters you got?
I only had now, as far as that my immediate family, just me and my brother, mom and daddy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but as far as cousins, aunties, and uncles, we had a lot of those.
Yeah. What was did you play sports or anything growing up?
Yeah, I played football. I played some little bit of baseball when I was younger, but mainly football.
That was what you was all about when you was
like
a kid?
Football, yeah. I always was into the music though still. But I did like football. I ran track in high school, ran a little bit of track. Thought I was a little speed demon, so I always try to be doing something like that. You know, the girls love the athletes.
Right.
So I definitely always tried to do that. Plus all my homeboys and friends was doing it too. Yeah. And I mean, it was fun. Definitely loved that, you know, playing football and running track, but still, like, I still love music back then too. Yeah.
When so we'll go to that. So speaking about the music, when do you recall a certain style of music, or maybe a certain album or song or something growing up? Not from a creative standpoint necessarily, but like what that you was drawn to, like growing up? Maybe something you heard your parents playing in the house or your brother?
To grow towards music, or maybe want to do music?
As far as just music.
Just loving music?
Yeah, loving music.
Double Dutch Bus.
Okay,
Yeah, Daddy used to play Double Dutch Bus all the time on the 12-inch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I knew it top to bottom, from the beginning to the end of the song.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
that was before rap.
Right. So when did rap become something you were drawn to? Was it almost like instantly when it first started becoming a thing, or was it something you always wanted to see yourself doing, or did that take a little time?
That took a little time, but as far as when I first heard it, I knew, I want to say, I feel like Lottie Dottie by Slick Ricky Dougie Fresh might have been the first rap track I heard.
Yeah,
it had me. It was either that or Run DMC. It was one of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But from then I knew. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And did you start writing raps like in school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably I started doing that probably around 4th or 5th grade.
Oh, so you was young then. Okay,
yeah. Just playing around.
Right.
Nothing serious.
Right.
But just messing around, just seeing if I could do it. You feel me? Yeah.
When did do you remember maybe looking at it to where like this is something I for real want to try to pursue? Was it after high school, or was you doing that while you was playing sports in school, or was it how did that go?
It was definitely after high school. I think more. I started out as a DJ first. It's a DJ to house parties.
Oh, okay.
And school parties.
What was your DJ
shit
name?
like that? I think I went by my name. I think I was like DJ Mack Williams.
Okay.
Or some shit like that. Yeah. Something like that. But and I looked up to DJ Jazzy Jeff. I love Jazzy Jeff. You know what I'm saying? And so I would DJ the house parties. They would book me for all the little hood parties and little shit like that, the pool parties. But I guess it wasn't until later though when I heard it was around 3-6 Mafia, Skinny Pimp when they came into play.
Like mid to late 90s.
Yeah. I graduated in 94.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but about right when they came in, I was kind of like, okay. Right when Tennessee hit, when they made me feel like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah, Ball and G, that's when they were really starting to.
Yeah. I was a big fan of Ball and G, but to be honest, my group was Outkast. And 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah.
And
Outkast 94. That was AT Aliens. I think it was 94.
Nah, that was Players Ball.
Or Players Ball. Yeah. It was AT Aliens with 96.
96. Yeah, that was the second album. Yeah.
Golly, dude, that's the 90s. Outkast ran the 90s, man.
Man, what?
From the hip hop standpoint.
Yep.
From like as you know, from the South, I would think, like, because that was still when 3-6 was like still underground.
Right.
You know, they were 666.
They didn't have a deal.
No, not then. They were still trying.
Outkast was with they was Organized Noises Production. They was with LaFace.
Yep.
Yeah.
LaFace,
with LaFace.
That's crazy, man.
And I said around that time too, like Skinny Pimp was my favorite solo artist. You know what I mean?
He's a beast.
As an underground artist.
Yeah.
Other than Tupac, you know, and LL, them was, you know, the GOATs, but Skinny was my guy.
Oh, dude. Skinny Pimp, man. I didn't find out about Skinny Pimp until it was probably 2001 or 2 when I really started getting it. Because my first, you know, initial Memphis rap was 3-6. And then I started finding out about all the other side of Memphis rap. And then I realized that Skinny Pimp was on a lot of those 3-6 albums.
Yeah.
When I found out about him, it was when it was like King of the Players Ball, too, like, or the one with like the him with the car on the front cover, like the Rap Dope Game, maybe. I can't remember.
2000 Rap Dope Game. Yeah, that was after he left.
Yeah, it was after he left. So like I didn't know that he was. You know, that's how I found out about him. But yeah, Skinny
by that time they was beefing. They was beefing.
Because I remember at that time, you know, him and Fly and a bunch of them that I found out later that was with 3-6 initially, and then went Gangsta Black.
Right.
You know, but that's cool though, man. So do you remember when you recorded your first song, when you was like, I'm gonna go to the studio and try to record something?
Actual studio or first home?
Or just first time like you recorded a song when you was like, this is something I just. You know, is it a home studio first?
It was definitely a home studio first. It wasn't even a real home studio. It was just one of them things that just trying to get your voice on something.
Yeah.
You feel me? It had to be around 97.
Yeah. Was it like a computer mic or something?
Chad, it might have been some tapes, some cassettes involved. I don't even think it was a mic involved.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think it might have been a recorder over here and something playing the tape over here. I believe it was something I rigged together. You feel me? Yeah.
And it was just kind of a trial and error thing. Like
I wanted to hear a rap. I wanted to hear, like, see what this sounded like. I think I might even rapped over the lyrics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just kind of overdubbed it. Yeah. So like, other than Outkast, what were some other Skinny Pimp? What were some other influences on you when you first started, like, crafting your own stuff? Was there any other artists that you?
Of course, Tupac, the Dayton Family.
Yeah.
I could say really all of Memphis. Gangsta Pat, Ball and G, Project Pat. You know what I mean? I would say back then there was a group from here called the Ghetto Soldiers. That was hard as hell. I don't know if they still around.
I don't know if they still are or not, but
I used to bang they shit.
Yeah.
They was from right here in Nashville. My cousin used to send me their music. So I don't remember too many names or nothing. I just remember they shit was hard.
Yeah.
But anything from Tennessee had me inspired. Back then, of course, Scarface, the Ghetto Boys, all of them had me inspired. I think UGK. Texas had a lot of things. You know, wasn't the Power Walk Chameleonaires then, but back then, Jay Prince was putting out so much music. Rap-A-Lot was putting out so many albums from the Fifth Ward Juveniles to Too Much Trouble to the Fifth Ward Boys. I listened to all of them. You know what I mean?
And then,
Big Mike. I listened to all of that.
And then Zero came along, and he's one of those days. He's one of my favorite raps. He's not even really a rapper, but he's one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
And Zero came along right like late '90s, I remember. But where he was blending the rapping and melodic stuff. because the only people that he was really doing it at that time was Bone.
Was Bone.
And his style was completely different than Bone's.
Right.
It was that, but Pimp was doing it too. Like,
right.
You know, that may have been an influence for Zero too. But
I tell you who was doing it before all of them. Domino from the West Coast.
Yes,
Ghetto Jam.
Yeah, Domino.
He was the first person I heard kind of being melodic on wax.
Oh man, Domino.
Yeah. The Ghetto Jam.
Yep, Domino for sure, dude. Do you remember when your first project was? When you put together a first project? Was it like was it a group that maybe you and some guys had in your city or what?
It was me and a dude named Ace. One of our little homeboys had got killed. And his name was Andre Jackson. He died, and me and Ace was a little bit older than me, but Ace was the OG rapper in Alcoa. Right. He was the one known to be. Him and this other dude named Brandon Holloman, they put it down all the time. You know what I mean? Brandon was going through some situations where they wasn't really rapping together at that time. So me and Ace had put something together after Dre died. Yeah. So we put together like a little 4-song EP with some of Dre's family or whatever. And once we did that, it did pretty good around the neighborhood. The whole neighborhood supported it, bought it. Right after that, we kind of went our separate directions. And I dropped my first project by myself, and he dropped his first project. Him and Brandon got together. So it was with a group. Then I went solo kind of immediately after.
What time frame was the first solo project?
98. Oh, the solo 2000. It came out 2000. It's on Spotify. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Okay.
It looked like it's released as new because it's never been released digitally.
Right. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you listen to it, you can tell it's a much older project. Yeah.
And we're going now that we're getting in your catalog, we'll put those on the screen so people know what to go look at on social media.
Okay.
But Don't Hate the Player, Hate the Game, 2000. That was your first. You said that was your first solo project. And were there a lot of other artists like from Alcoa area that was doing it like at this time frame other than you? And like I know you said you had a group and then y'all did solo stuff. Was there a big scene at that time?
I had about 12, 13 artists just from my neighborhood.
Oh, so yeah.
I was one. I could go to the club and be deep just because of my the dudes who rap with me, not to mention all their girlfriends and friends and all my girlfriends and friends. So we are not 50, 60 deep just because of my entourage, just because of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when you put that first album out, did you start to see, like initially, did you start to see like, oh, this is something that's really bubbling?
Immediately.
It was like an immediate thing?
Yeah. Like like I come from a small neighborhood. That neighborhood I'm talking about, the 13 streets. That's where I pushed all this stuff. That's why I did a lot of hustling there. You know what I mean? So when it came out, everybody was banging it in their trunks. We came up, me and the dudes that I made the music with, we all came up on 3-6 and 8 Ball. We was fascinated with the beats. We loved the lyrics. We loved the style. So in slick ways, we took after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the type of music we wanted to make. The crunk, the shit that made you want to drive fast and fight to it. You know what I mean? So that's what we did.
Yeah.
And the city loved it because that's what they listened to too.
Right. Especially that time, man, because 2000 at that point, 360 already dropped chapters 1 and 2. We hit a motherfucker and tear the club up.
Yeah.
The Hypnotized Camp Posse just came out around that time. So like that's when that was like at the, I don't want to say at the peak because it got even bigger, but like that's when it was really starting to like, this is what people want to hear. Is that Memphis.
And not even just that, Chad. You had them with the big clique. You notice how many people I said I had with me. You had No Limit. You had Cash Money. You had Snoop and the East Siders. Everybody had a big, so it's like, okay,
entourage,
I just was trying to do what I seen these dudes do. I always knew my competition was never nobody, my peers. It was them dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
and too, like, you saw that that's what they were doing, but you were already doing it anyways, just not from a music standpoint per se, but like you said, when y'all went to the club, that's just kind of how y'all all went anyway. So it made sense, to just let it bleed over into the music stuff too.
Right.
If you was already on that type of time, especially back in that time frame. So 2000, the first album came out, you immediately started to see some growth. What came after that initial record? Did you immediately start working on a new project, or was you starting to see any kind of radio play at that time, like locally?
We had a small radio station that we couldn't even hear in Alcoa. It was in Knoxville. So I'd have to go over there and take them the music. My cousin worked at Blue Cheese.
Oh yeah. Shout out Blue
Cheese. He
Cheese.
was
Yep.
Lil E on the Love Line at the time.
Yeah, he
You know
definitely
what
had
I
that
mean?
radio voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would take Cuz the music. If a clean song, he would play it. I would ride to Knoxville just to listen to it, and go back to Alcoa.
Isn't that crazy how things used to be, bro? You had to get in your car and drive to another whole other city just to hear your song played on the radio.
Yeah.
And now the way that everything is, you can have a song played in Germany and you can just sit on your computer
and listen to it.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
Yeah. So that was that station wasn't BDS or none of that. So of course none of the scans counted. Of course nothing set up correctly anyway. It was just the thrill of being on the radio.
It was just being on the radio waves.
Yeah. But that was always my goal. Like I always knew I just had to get on the radio. So that was goal.
Yep. When was the next project after that one?
Immediately, well, it was some of the artists that was under my label.
Right,
I started releasing them next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A couple of them was like real hot at the time for my album that they was on, songs that they had went crazy on. So I started putting them out immediately after that. And I don't think I came back again till like, it might have been 03.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I came out and the album out, it's not on there yet. It'll be coming out next. It was one called Armageddon, Ready for Whatever. Yeah.
And like, what was it like? Because you said you had several artists that you was helping and everything. How was it? How was the balancing doing? Like being able to balance all that. I'm sure you had family too, so it's like balancing your own music, the other artists, the family, all that kind of stuff. What was that? Did you find that difficult at all? Like trying to balance everything?
No, cause the studio was in the trap house. I was always in the trap house.
Yeah.
Shit, I was one of them. I did what I had to do. I always took care of my son. I always had my son, but if he had to go over here with his mom, you got to stay over here while I'm over here doing this.
No, for sure.
And what I mean by that, I was definitely there as a pops, but if I had to go do this,
no, for sure,
do this.
Yeah,
you know what
so
I mean?
You made it work. Yeah.
I just made it work.
Yeah.
And she was supportive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For as long as she could have been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you said 03 was the second project. And then at that point, did you start seeing any kind of traction as far as, was you doing a lot of shows? Was y'all doing a lot of shows back then? Or was it just like local? Or
local shows. We would come out, we go out of town to chat every now and again. We would come down here to Nashville every now and again. You know what I mean? But mainly we were trying to sew up the city.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean?
And you got to a point in Knoxville where like you were one of the, if not the top artists from Knoxville area, correct?
Yeah.
What time frame was it? Was this around that same time?
Nah, that was about 06. That was right after the 865, the Where You From.
The Where You From joint.
Yeah. We hit with that.
Yeah.
And then we came back with that remix with Gotti and them, and that kind of just sold everything up for a while. That stamped me.
No, for sure.
Me, you know what I mean?
When do you want to speak about how the remix collab with Gotti, how that came about? Because I know we spoke about it on the pod, but like you want to start getting, because there was some stuff that you was trying, like something with deals as well, wasn't there? You want to kind of just speak on that? We're around that time frame, now, right?
I had the original out. I was about to do a remix originally with Skinny Pimp and D Cooley, and we was gonna do it over the same original beat.
Yep.
One of my another producer reached out, was like, Mack, I got this track. What you wanna do a remix? Whoop-de-whoop.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. It's Lex Lucchese. Like, cool.
It's
Lex Lucchese. I love the track. And then CJ ENT came to me. He was a promoter at the time. He was doing some promoting with me and some other artists.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you wanna put Gotti and Lido on it? And I'm like, really? At the time, I had just did a song with Bone Crusher and Skinny Pimp. I'm like, cuz my budget just don't work for that. You know what I mean? He was like, well, I got the plug. I could do it. You know what I'm saying? So he called called Gotti up, called Lido up, and what he did, he brought him to a show in Knoxville.
Yeah.
And they just, once he got him to the show, he paid him to do the show. They did the verse for, you know what I mean?
So he did like the show, and that's cool.
At the verse at the same time.
And was that around the time where Lido was working
he was with Cash Money.
He was with Cash Money then. Okay,
yeah, he had Grey Goose. Grey Goose was going crazy.
Yeah, shout out Lido. Yeah, we had him on the pod. He was talking about that same like time frame.
Yeah,
Grey Goose and all that. So you ended up getting a remix to that, and then did that start really like started taking off?
Yeah, because the radio took it immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They jumped down on it. At the time, Gotti had That's What's Up out. Matter of fact, it hadn't even came out yet.
Yeah, it was before That's What's Up.
It was right before that. You know what I'm saying? My song came out right before that. And then but they put it on the radio. So Gotti and Lito was still kind of new to certain people around there at that time.
Yeah.
But it was at Tennessee, so they had to love it. You know what I mean? And then
Yep.
D. Cooley he just kind of sold it up. He was like the young dude on it. He went crazy with
D.
the
Cooley
verse.
was going crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just sold it up, and they jumped down on it. And then, you know, from my city, from out there, you know, even though they should have been on it from the jump, that makes people pay attention a little more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like do hard or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? You know how it goes.
You have the features, and they're like, oh, we're gonna pay attention.
Gonna pay attention now. Yeah.
It's kind of like a stamp of approval, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, is that around the time that you was where you was talking about like there was some deals that was potentially on the table, or was that shortly after that?
They start calling right around that time.
Same time.
Yeah.
And who was it that was calling?
At the time, Universal called.
Yeah.
And Asylum called.
Yeah, because that was around the time where they had like, was that when they had
it was
like
Universal, Motown, and Asylum?
Yeah, because that's when they had. Was that when Asylum was like had like Paul Wall, Mike Jones, Frazier Boy, Lil White? Was it all that time?
They had them, and who else at the time? It was somebody else. It was definitely them.
Yeah, because I remember when I interviewed Frazier Boy, I remember his second album, Me Being Me, and White's Finally Famous album was under Asylum. And then I remember he was saying that he got that drink with Paul and Mike Jones because they were, I think, tied in with Asylum too. Or something.
Yeah. It was a couple more too.
Yeah. So that's just that time frame where they were, I guess, just trying to get
they were signing everybody.
They
were signing. And the South was going crazy then. So they was trying to sign everybody who was popping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they called, but then and they flew me up. They ain't offered no money. They kept saying my songs wasn't big enough. They kept saying 865 wasn't big enough.
But they called you.
Right.
So it's like you
paid me, flew me up there, paid for me my rooms and everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So when they told you that, what was their point of bringing you up if they were going to tell you that? Were they suggesting anything else, or was it
make it to where it could fit everybody?
Okay, so they were like, well, if you do this, like, we'll try to work.
Yeah, that's what they was like, make it to where it can fit everybody. But it's like at this point, what do you say? The USA? Or what do you do? Go get more rappers? Well, the budget's already into these rappers we already got.
And they're three of the biggest ones from the South at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like from our region. So it's like it sounded like they just didn't see, their vision just wasn't matching.
Right. Cause we was on some like, we had conquered the 865. Now we trying to get to state. You know what I mean?
You got the 615, the 901.
Yeah. We trying to get to state, and then I guess we could worry about everything else. You know what I mean? That's how we was looking at it.
Yeah. And then when they wasn't really talking about much, was it the same with the other situation that was calling you?
Yeah.
So it was the same thing.
Yeah. And they in the same building.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, they're in the same building.
So you just went back and was just going back to just doing what you was doing before?
Yeah, I came on back and kept putting them singles on the radio. And then I think it was a year later, I came with another joint. It had my kid and my niece and my nephew on it. And they start calling again. But this time it's Universal Republic and Atlantic. Same building, branches off the same people from the last year.
What were they saying?
They talking about money.
Yeah.
One talking about a little bit of money. The next one talking about enough money. Right. And I'm ready to sign.
Yeah.
I'm fucked up broke in the hood.
Yeah. So did you end up signing?
Yeah. They do what Universal Republic. They offered a little bit of nothing. And then we was like, hey man, how we supposed to survive off this? I got managers to pay, I got lawyers to pay. And we was able to get the price up. They believed in the single enough, so they said. You know what I mean? And they paid, though. They did pay.
Yeah. And then what was the deal, like a certain amount of songs or a certain amount of albums, or was it a term like for a year? How was
it? Was a double single deal.
Okay.
A double single deal. If the singles do good, we're going to a 4-album deal.
Yeah.
So they released the first single. You can find it on the platform So Fly.
Yeah, So Fly. Yeah.
They released that. They never released the second single.
Did they even put?
And So Fly, the whole thing about that is I released it first. That's like I said, that's what made them call me back.
Yeah.
They just got in on what I was already doing.
So they didn't even release that one.
They released it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But basically what I'm saying, by the time they released it and did what they did, I really was ready to move on to something else.
Because you are, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The momentum was gone off of the song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At that time, I was moving fast. I was dropping fast. I had figured out that little single thing.
Yep.
And I was dropping.
That was like before that was really big. In 2006, 2007,
Mm-hmm.
singles weren't, it was all about, like, people were dropping music videos, but it was always album based.
Mm-hmm.
So like you were kind of ahead of the curve with the single stuff.
But I would turn them into the radio, Chatty, but I wasn't dropping them on nothing. I was just getting them on the radio.
Yeah.
Just making sure I had something for the radio.
Something circulating.
Yeah, and I might throw one on the mixtape here. I might throw one on the mixtape there. So at the end of the day, it still wasn't getting worked right.
Right.
You feel me? I just was trying to stay on the air though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happened and they didn't even put the other one out, you're back to what you was doing before, and you was just back to grinding. What was that? What came after that?
Oh, what came after that?
There's My Thing.
My Thing was supposed to have been the one as the second single.
Okay,
that was supposed to have been the second single. If you notice, they never dropped it.
Yep.
I did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I went ahead and dropped it. After that, shit, I went through some things with an artist from the neighborhood. I got sued by an artist from my neighborhood.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, we did a song together. And it was during the Universal time. It was actually supposed to have been a second single.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the artist came up with an agreement or whatever. She sang on a song. And then pretty much once she was supposed to go to New York and sign her paperwork because she worked for Bad Boy at the time. Well, when she got to Universal, she decided she wanted all of her publishing. She wanted to change her rules. So she came back and sued me on that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This was a girl I grew up with. It was somebody I grew up with.
It wasn't like somebody you didn't know.
Yeah, it was somebody I grew up with. But
so did you have to take a break from releasing music to focus on other stuff, or was you still doing?
I was trying to work it both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't really going to my favor though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was harder to release music. Shit, me and CJ wasn't in the same place.
Yeah.
Me and my management wasn't in the same place.
Yeah.
Me and the entourage wasn't in the same place.
Right.
Everything had changed. You know what I mean? It was so new to my area, even seeing something like that happen to a person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see why. I understand now why people leave their area and don't come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is it from like a it's just not love, or is it people with expecting handouts, or both?
Just some people just got hate and envy in them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I ain't gonna call it handouts. I won't say that. I won't even just call it handouts. But some people are just jealous. And some people are naturally jealous and just envious, or just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just some, you know, I ain't saying I made all the right decisions, because nobody perfect.
Right.
Ain't nobody just straight up and
100%.
down perfect. You know what I mean? But I do call myself a stand-up dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know I done looked out. I know I done, helped some people out when it come to this shit.
Right.
And I know when it came back around, I might have been the one getting talked about or laughed at.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah. So at what time frame did you link up and do the track with Squirrel and Jelly? Was that a few years after that? Or was that a while ago?
Okay, here's how that worked.
Okay.
Me and Squirrel done knew each other since we was kids.
Mm-hmm.
So right after the 865 came out, Where You From, Squirrel was like, Mack, I got this track. I need you to get on it. I done sampled it, and come to find out that little sample was a song that they had been playing on the Channel 10 News. So it was something that everybody from our area was familiar with.
Yeah.
I fell in love as soon as I heard it.
Yeah.
So I dropped my verses right after I got the beat.
Yeah.
Squirrel never dropped his. I took my verse and put it on a DJ Scream mixtape that I had dropped.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just put that out for a while.
Yep.
Trav was locked up.
Yeah.
Trav got out. Was like, look, bro, I'm going to go down here to chat. I think at that time, Jelly Roll was running around doing a lot of stuff in Chattanooga.
Yeah. What time was that? 2012?
Yes.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
And Trav and Stack had a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So he was definitely he wanted to start rocking with Jelly.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Squirrel was Trav's artist.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So goddamn Trav came to Knoxville. He said, Mack, I'm down here on a Jelly doing 2-for-1s. Him and a homeboy came down here. Trav came to get the Tennessee Rose verse.
Yep.
Other dude came to get another verse. I had a song called Country Shit. I said, here, sit there.
Yeah. So that's where the country shit.
Yeah. Jelly did 2 in one night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And from there, Trav bought the verses back. Squirrel finally put his verse on it. We released the song. But originally, that song was brought to me in 2007.
Oh wow! And y'all, it was just. And when did you put the verse on the Scream mixtape? What year was that?
2008.
Okay, so
yeah.
Song didn't get recorded till 2012 or whatever,
all the way
when it got put together, and it wasn't even something that initially was. It was just going to be you and Squirrel, and then it worked out.
It worked out, yeah, because that's what Travis. He was a big Jelly fan. We had all heard of him at the time. We had listened to the freestyle. We was all familiar with the SCA event.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We all watched that DVD.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Sure. You know what I'm saying? We all seen that. So Trav was definitely wanting to get into. He was a big fan of Stack. Like I said, they had all been working together. Yeah. It was like, bro, this is what we got to do right here. You know what I mean? And that's what we did.
That worked out because you had it was a Tennessee Rose. That's the one with Squirrel and Jelly, and then you got Country Shit with Jelly.
Right.
And that one's out. They're both out on streaming platforms.
Right.
But the Country Shit with Jelly is the more, it's the newer of the two.
Right.
Because it's got Josiah Ashley on it too, right? Yeah. And after you did those in like 2012, 2013, was you still doing kind of the? I know you said it's not as much of an entourage thing. Was you working on just solo stuff, or was you trying to venture out and help out other artists in the city, or?
Yeah, no, I was really just on me.
Trying to figure things out.
Yeah, just trying to figure it out. The game was changing. I was dolo. Shit, I was trying to get my bag back up. Yep. You know what I mean? Really just trying to find my place. The streets was changing. The game had drastically changed. I think around that time, the record stores was closing.
Oh, yeah, that's when it started.
So it wasn't no checks no more.
Yeah.
I used to go take my box of CDs and get a check.
Consignment, man. Yeah, them CDs.
No consignment. I was established.
Oh, so I got you.
They give me a check. Yeah. I could take a box in there and get a stack. You know what I mean? Or whatever. If I got enough.
Because I knew they'd sell.
Yeah. So I come from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People don't be knowing about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These dudes, they don't have no clue. Not that they supposed to or have to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's just a different time.
Yeah. And I had to adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 2012, and you dropped the Tennessee Titans project. That's the one that had all the monster collabs on it and stuff, right? The one with Lido and Gotti and all them. You had Project Pat on there. You had Juicy J doing some stuff on there.
Yeah, he hosted it.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Paper on there.
Yeah,
D-Tay on there.
Yep.
Acoustic on there.
Was Buck on there?
RP Buck on there. Buck on
remix.
2 songs. He on Dope Boy Remix and King and Dope Boy State.
Yeah.
He on like 3 songs.
Yeah, that's crazy, the amount of collabs you had on there, dude.
And it was just stuff I had. It was like, man, how do you do this? How do you? I'm like, man, this is what you do. I'm a big fan of the Clash of the Titans movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love that movie.
It's a cool idea, too,
so
man.
It's like, man, this is what makes the most sense at the time.
Yeah. And then, I guess we'll fast forward to, like, currently with what's going on. You started, like, you've been going back and re-releasing releasing these singles that were big singles, but they never were on streaming platforms.
Right.
So you've been going through and releasing these, which, like the one you had the Think It Over joint with Young Ralph and Project Pat. You dropped an EP. You dropped the one with Bone Crusher, like you was talking about. Then recently, like a couple of weeks ago when this is being filmed, you just dropped a new single called Survivor. Do you want to speak about that one?
Yeah. It's what it says.
Yeah.
I'm a survivor, man. If you listen to the lyrics, they done threw rocks at me. They done talk shit about me. They done crucified me. Yeah. I'm not Jesus, but they done crucified me like that. Yeah. And I'm still here, and I'm not going nowhere. Yeah. When it come to music, I am the 865. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm a survivor. I would not let nothing. They will have to kill me is all I gotta say. If they want me to stop, they gonna have to literally kill me.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just what it's all about. Like, I'm coming through the flames.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about that age shit. or
No,
none of
no,
that.
no.
I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
here to say I'm here to take over. I'm going to be the next big thing, but
Yeah.
I am here and I'm
Nah,
not going nowhere.
for sure.
Yeah.
I like that, dude. Stand on that like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So with it currently, like within the last, I'd say year or two, like you've been really adamant about the content aspect of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the game changing, you've been here, like you said at the beginning of the interview. You know, when your first recording was on cassette tape, you know, on tapes, and then you came a long way all through the years. But now it's a situation where content is king. So it's like you've got you a podcast now.
Mm-hmm.
You want to speak about the podcast?
Yes, back in the morning.
Yeah, all dope.
That's what
Yeah.
I do. You know what I mean? First of all, salute to you.
Yeah.
Because after I did my last interview with y'all is what really pepped me up to go on and get my shit back rolling.
Oh, hell yeah,
I
man.
had did it back in 18.
Yeah.
And it went pretty good. You know what I mean? A lot of big hiccups, bumps in the road and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
once I cranked it back up, it was after I left your show. It's like, man, I can do this. Once
Yeah.
again, it took a Tennessee native
Yeah.
to make me feel like, okay, this is what you do. That's, you know what I mean? That's why I love Tennessee as a whole.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? I love the whole state. That's why I did that Where You From remix. You know,
Yeah.
like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all about the content now. The
Mhm.
podcast, it's all about, I was talking to a promoter the other day. You don't have to do big releases and playing releases no more because it's about content.
Yep.
I'm releasing music that I haven't listened to in years.
Yep.
Far as I know, that might sell 1 million copies.
Yeah.
I know it ain't gonna sell 1 million copies sitting in that hard drive.
Yep.
I know it's not gonna do nothing for me right there.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I do know just the more stuff you put out there, the more you gonna get back. So that's all I done learned. That's what I'm seeing and that's what I'm taking in as far as the game goes. So I'm just gonna apply it to what I got going on.
Yeah.
And I believe it's gonna work.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And then like with the Mack in the Morning podcast, you say y'all do those live.
Yeah.
Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go live. Is it just you do live on Facebook, and then the full episodes are uploaded like on? Do you upload them on the YouTube and everything?
Nah, it's live on Facebook, it's live on YouTube, and it's live on Twitter.
Oh, dope! So you just do the simultaneous.
Yeah, it goes to live to all of them. Now our core audience is Facebook.
Yeah,
that's who we're communicating with. That's who we're talking to, giving shouts out to, and everything.
Yeah.
But it goes to all those other sites because you need YouTube.
Oh no, 100%.
For sure. You know what I mean? That was one of the things in 18 I wasn't doing. I wasn't going to YouTube. So when I stopped and I said I'm gonna start back, if I'm not going to YouTube, I'm not doing this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. And then like with the podcast, man, is it just you want to kind of speak a little bit briefly on what kind of a podcast it is as far as like topics? Is it just a little bit of everything or is it?
It's Mack and Mondays where I do entrepreneurs. I try to have entrepreneurs in there to talk about businesses.
Yeah.
Wake and Bake Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And then No Filter Fridays, or it could be Freestyle Fridays. Now, Chatty, it all depends on if my fucking guests show up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like if my guests show up on the Friday like they supposed to, then it's definitely gonna be a freestyle. Yeah. If it don't, then it changes to No Filter Friday. That means I'm up there by myself talking that shit, popping that shit. On Wednesdays, I try to have like what I'm trying to do on Wednesdays, females hit that relationship shit.
No, for sure.
And I'm on some. I'm tired of the battle of the sexes. Yeah. So we on some trying to bring the men and women together. I'm tired of the men and women being against each other. That's kind of gay to me. No, it's really stupid. You know what I mean? To be against a woman or for a woman to be against a man. It's ignorant. Yeah. You feel me? No, so like 100%. That's what we on. Now we ask basic questions. Hey lady, you on the 50-50 shit? She can say yes or no. Yeah. But I try and get young girls, middle-aged girls, older girls. I want to talk to them all. You know what I mean? And I want people to understand what they go through, but they need to understand what we go through as men and just sharing the love, man. It's a morning show. Just trying to bring something to my city. See, y'all got it popping down here in Nashville. There's a lot of this going on here. Yeah. Don't go on in Knoxville. Right. You know what I mean? Unless somebody like myself brings it or somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, hell yeah, man. We'll make sure that all of y'all's links and stuff are put down in the comment section because whether it's the podcast people want to tune into or the music or both, either one. But I really respect what you're doing, man. You're definitely an OG in the scene, and I'm glad to see that you're starting to gain traction with the podcast, because that's just something that you can do. You know, it's got such a longer shelf life, and I found that out being an artist too. Like, it's still cool to do the music, but that podcast and the content, you can do that as long as you want to do it.
As long as you want to.
You know,
as long as you want to.
And you can always, and there's a lot easier ways to have communication and content from it, you know, with just conversation with different walks of life. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I always ask my guests is this is the question I always ask them: who is Mr. Mack?
Man, if I could define myself in one word, all I could just say is real. And I don't mean no gangster killer.
Yeah.
I'm just a stand-up individual, man. I try to do the right thing. I try to bless others as I've been blessed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do not turn the other cheek though. I'm not one of them, you know what I mean, that gets your jaw broke. I believe in helping others, but I believe if I help you, you gotta help me back. You know what I mean? Don't leave me fucked up if I didn't leave you fucked up.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of disloyalty. It's a lot of wrongs that's going on around out here in the world, and it's like people just sitting and watching it and not really wanting to speak on it. Or I'm him. You know what I mean? Like, you don't tolerate bullshit. So that's me. You know what I mean? I want to see everybody make it. Everybody can't make it though, but I would like to see you make it.
Right. I'm cheering for you.
Yeah.
That's the way I am.
But that don't mean I don't want to make it either.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
You're gonna have to outwork me.
Yeah. And that's who I am, bro. I love my people. I love my son more than anything. I'm a firm believer in God. And I'm gonna push to the top, and that's me. Yeah.
Well, I really do appreciate you sitting down with me, man. This is really, really dope, I think, and it gives people an insight to your story. And we'll make sure like that all your links are below, to where y'all be sure to tap into the Spotify. He's doing well. The Spotify's doing great. We'll make sure you have the contact too for the podcast. Anybody want to tune into the podcast, follow him on Facebook, YouTube. You said Twitter too?
Yeah, Twitter, I'm on everything.
Yeah. So
Instagram, Twitter. I got a Snapchat. I don't use it, but
I
got all that shit. They say you gotta have it.
You gotta have it,
it's at least gotta be there. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, man. This was some dope conversation, man. I appreciate you, Mr. Mack.
For sure.
Y'all be sure to subscribe to him, man. Mr. Mack, ChadArmesTV.